This is in timing, or was in timing back at the end of July, with Jupiter in Aries going into retrograde the same day on July the 28th. So let's talk a little bit about the other sign, Aries, in its beginning new cycle in Jupiter in Aries, but now going in retrograde on July the 28th. And also at the same time having a trine with the moon that was in Leo at 6 degrees in the sun. They're trining because they're both fire signs, Aries and Leo, which creates even more fiery energy. So even though this Jupiter retrograde means it's going backwards, it's still in the first decan of Jupiter, of Aries in Jupiter, and it's going to go back into the last decan of Pisces. We'll get into that in a second, but Leo is expression. Again, it's how you shine, it's your sense of self. Virgo is the actual last sign of the individual signs, the signs that have to represent yourself, from Aries on up to Virgo, and then Libra to Pisces represents the collective. So Leo also represents celebrities and leaders. This is the look at me energy, pay attention to me, I'm the best you've ever seen. And that's quite grand of Leos. And you know, even though it can be a little cockily, regardless of who's around, you shine bright. All Leos, especially Leo risings. Most Leo risings are celebrities. Donald Trump has a Leo rising at the 29th degree, so he's like the top celebrity of all time. So is Drake. Drake's Leo rising is at the 29th degree, I believe. You know, that's the mastery level of any sign. All right, the sun is at home again, I said, in Leo, and it's powerfully illuminating all over this planet, so I cannot express how much. And with Jupiter and Aries trining with this, Jupiter expands all this Leo energy, even if it's in retrograde. Now, let's get back to Leo, Jupiter and Aries in retrograde, starting on the same day as the new moon. While you're getting this new energy, it's illuminating energy, this self-confidence, brave energy, it's expanding. However, we're thinking of it in a different way. There's a lot of things moving slow right now. I cannot express this enough, because Jupiter being in retrograde means we are replanning on how we're going to get these rewards that Jupiter is going to give us once this retrograde is over. All the way in October, we have Saturn in retrograde until November, and Pluto as well. We have Chiron in retrograde. So these are heavy placements, planets that are in retrograde. Saturn, the lesson learning planet that we'll get back into in Aquarius, the other fixed sign, the opposition sign of Leo. But Jupiter in Aries is the confidence we have in ourselves. So tied along with the bravery of the Leo sun, hopefully you felt a spark of energy around the end of July, beginning of August. I want to say at the beginning of August, I decided to move in with my new love, and it's coming soon. Stay tuned. All right. So Jupiter will go back to the 28th degree in Pisces while it's in retrograde up until October. So the first decan that we're going back through in Aries, this will help us rethink some impulsive things we might have been doing, which kind of scares me, you know, and it doesn't scare me because retrogrades are big lessons we all could learn from, and we will benefit from Jupiter retrograde always. I have a Jupiter retrograde on my chart. I looked it up, and it doesn't mean what I thought it meant. There's definite differences on opinions with the Jupiter in retrograde on your birth chart, on your natal chart. Mine is in Cancer, so that's a good position for it. However, in retrograde, it could mean that I will not do well, or I will not nurture my abundant life. And I'm realizing that that might be true. That might be the one that's true. I've heard that you will be okay when there are retrogrades in a planet that you have retrograde in your sign. It could be both, you know? Anyway, enough about me. If you all remember when I did Jupiter going into Aries a while ago, this was the exact same day, the same hour Jupiter went into retrograde on the East Coast, is when Chris Rock slapped Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. That's the first day Jupiter Aries, the first moment Jupiter and Aries. So Aries is impulsive, aggressive, takes action. And Jupiter expands that. So it was expanded like we were talking about it, or y'all were talking about it, because it was literally getting on my nerves the minute it happened. But y'all were talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Still making memes about it to this day. And now we have to rethink some of this stuff. Why did that happen? Why did people make memes tied to Joe Biden with it? Skin mask. Excuse me. And what if we go backwards? What will happen that we need to, if that were to happen again, if we were to go back into Jupiter and Pisces, which we are, and we come back into that first decan of Aries, which we will, towards the end of this year, what kind of action do we need to rethink when something comes up aggressively, impulsively again? Should we deal with it the way Will Smith did, or should we give ourselves a second chance to prove ourselves? All right, so reconnecting with your own spiritual wisdom, because Jupiter has to do with spirituality, everything Sagittarius and Pisces. Anything Aries, beginning a whole new cycle over the next 2 years with Jupiter being in Aries. Most of 2023 as well. It will go into Taurus by the end of 2023. And I know a few people who have Jupiter in Taurus. All right, you're welcome, Miss Kim Smith. Just saw your email. I mean your DM. All right, I think that's all I want to say about Jupiter and Aries in retrograde. Let's move on to August.